All right, so today is November 25th. We are in week 14. So I'm going to first, as we finish up assignment 7, I'm just going to give you a quick look ahead on your course outline. Remember, this is off your homepage. You're encouraged to print it out, have it as a PDF, just so you can always refer to it, even when you're not online. So what we're doing is we're turning in assignment 7 today, which is our introduction to digital painting, whether we're finished with it or not. So if I scroll down to assignments, find assignment 7. This is the last art assignment that I, as the instructor, grade. So it's worth 3 points. And we've been working on it for a while. You were asked to post both a photo reference and art inspiration reference, right? And we learned about base painting and then rough painting. And we're going to learn about refined painting today and get it submitted. Part of this unit, this is unit 14 in the class, was question of the day 4, which is our last question of the day. And if you notice for next class, the 27th, that is when all questions of the day, it's the last chance you have to turn them in. So I'll be talking about an interim self-assessment later, but we want to get everything turned in by November 27th, so we're just only focused on our final project from then on. Starting next class, actually starting in the middle of today's class, once we turn in assignment 7, we're going to start your final conceptual project, which is worth 10% of your grade and is graded by class critique, like our midterm critique, right? So that's 10 points out of 100 points, 10%, based on idea, execution, effort, and pizzazz. And to get the best possible idea for your assignment 8, we do it as a proving ground. So proving ground number 4 is what we're going to be starting today, where we come up with our idea and then do some rough sketches of it. Next class on Wednesday, we do have class even though it's Thanksgiving week. The campus is closed Thursday through Sunday, just like it says on the course outline. But on Wednesday, we're going to do individual process critiques on your sketches. And then coming back after Thanksgiving, we just have 2 classes. We have Monday's class to finish up our final project and print it. And then we have Wednesday's class, December 4th, just a week and a half from now, which is when your final project has to be printed and ready at the beginning of class. So we use the class as a gallery critique time. And then once we're done with the critique, then we'll do a review for the final exam. And our final exam is set for December 11th, starting at noon on Wednesday. So we don't meet on Monday of finals week. So remember, if you're ever unsure about what we're doing, we're just following this course outline.
So I have a question.
Yes.
What do we do that Monday?
So that Monday, you might have other final exams at the time you would usually have this class. Then you won't have then it's what's called, it's called a reading day. It's a day for you to study. Yep. Yeah, the reason the final exam schedule is a little weird, and I have it actually open here, is that every class, whether they are a studio class or a lecture class or a lab class, they all are guaranteed 2.5 hours for their final. So for that to work, certain ones have to be on Mondays, certain ones have to be on Wednesdays, certain ones have to be on Tuesdays, certain ones on Thursdays. There are even a few selected ones that are on Fridays. Those are for Monday, Wednesday, Friday classes, which we don't have many of on this campus.
Oh, that's good as heard. Well, luckily, this is the only class I take on this campus anyway, so
There you go.
I create for Monday.
So just remember, for finals week, this is 2 weeks from now, but our final is going to be on Wednesday, not Monday, and it starts at noon and goes until 2:30. And that's also where you'll have your final portfolio of 5 printouts.
Now, are all classes going to be that Wednesday?
So all classes,
Well, I mean, like that Tuesday or Wednesday?
no. So every class within the district follows this final exam schedule. So every class gets 2.5 hours sometime in that week. They try to start very near when your usual class starts, but it's one day of the week instead of both days. So for instance, if you have a Monday, Wednesday class that starts at 8 a.m., your exam is going to be on Monday of finals week at 8 a.m., right? And go until 10:30. So let's go through. What's your first class on Tuesday? What time? What time does it start? So if you have a class that starts at 11 on Tuesday, you're going to take that exam at 11 a.m. on Tuesday. And then you'll take that until 1:30. What's your next class on Tuesday? And what time does that start? So the 12:15 class is actually probably a 12:30 class. But if it's 12:15 or 12:30, you're going to take that on Thursday. And you'll take that from noon until 2:30. And what time is that? At 3 o'clock. So at 3 o'clock, you're going to take that on Tuesday. And that's going to start at 2 o'clock and go until 4:30. So you can take a picture of this. This is on the website. This is our final exam schedule. For fully online classes, you do them through Canvas, through online.
My social media is online.
So that will have its own directions. But this is for face-to-face and remote classes.
I do everything. Like I go to this class in person.
Wait, let me. Okay, so lots to do in these 2 weeks. So for today, we are finishing up assignment 7. So I go to the home page, I go to assignments, and I scroll down to assignment 7, digital painting, where I post. Just a quick reminder, as part of that unit, question of the day 4 was there. So you want to get that finished if you haven't. Talking about the authenticity of digital painting or digital art in this age of AI. I'm going to close the outline for now. And what were you asked to do? You were asked to post photo reference of either a person from the shoulders up or of an animal from head to toe that you're going to base your digital painting on, and then also some artistic inspiration reference, right? So you can see with my digital painting, I am not trying to just match the photo. I'm kind of bringing different things into it. You can paint in any way you like. What I'm going to be looking for is that you layer it up and use custom brushes. So understanding how digital paintings are constructed. Sketch, base color, rough paint. So let me now find my files and get those started. I'm going to open up Photopea, as we do, and open up assignment 7. You want to organize your folders because you're going to be printing your final portfolios soon. And find my PSD file. Here it is. And there we go. And since I haven't worked on this since Wednesday, it's now Monday, I might, having had time to look at it, I might like certain things about it. I might dislike certain things about it. What we're going to add now is what's called a refined paint layer. So to finish off the rough painting, I did a lot of 70% opacity painting. So if I look at the paint surface without the base painting, you can see how the base painting helps to fill it through with that red. Now what I'm going to do is lock my rough painting. This is for what's called refined painting. I'm going to lock this layer. I'm going to create a new layer, and this will be refined. First, I'm going to create a brush, or use one of the brushes that I had saved before. And because refined paint is the one you spend the most time on, if you're really trying to finish up a painting, I'm going to mark it green. So notice all my other layers are locked. Now I need to figure out a brush to use for my refined painting based on what I want. And I don't want just one of my standard brushes. So there's this kind of sloppy brush that's built into Photopea. and it works pretty well. And actually that might work well as a refine brush. It has the soft edges, but I'm going to play with its brush settings. So let me look at those tip dynamics. I'm going to change the control to pin pressure, which allows me to go thick to thin, with it. And then I'm going to play with the angle jitter a little bit and the roundness jitter and the size. And then this does an interesting thing with its scatter dynamics. It's just so it's a little bit thicker and thinner at different times, which is nice. And it's just playing with the scatter of the count, not of the position. If you scatter the position, it becomes more like an airbrush. But if you scatter the count, it will just like lag on you a little bit or sputter as a brush, which can be nice for blending. And then its transfer dynamics are just basically based on pin pressure. All right. So that's the brush I'm going to use. I also have my older brushes here, which I could just select and make. But this is kind of a nice blending brush. So, how do I do refined painting? I'm going for a type of finish at this point. So I zoom in. Usually, I'll mostly be zoomed in at around 200%, but I'll never zoom in more than that, because more than that is kind of useless. And here you can see the paint surface. You can see the base painting, the sketch underneath that. Right. And then the rough painting on top of that. The whole point of those layers was to build up colors and textures and to fill up the space. Now refined paint I'm going to use at a lower opacity. This opacity is going to be in the 30s. So base painting, 100% opacity. Rough painting, 70% opacity. Refined painting, around 30% opacity. This is the way I like to do it. My brush size is going to be fairly large, because it's still pressure sensitive for size. Whoops. And then I'm going to zoom in, just using Command plus. And now I'm going to steal colors mostly from myself and from my reference. Let's see, turn that off. And you're going to see that this brush starts to blend. Starts to move things together. There we go. I want to just have a little bit more control of it. And because I'm painting now at only about 30% or 35%, I am making a lot of new colors blending between these edges. And this brush is a little clunky, the one that's built into Photopea, so I might remind you how to make your own brush. I'm going to unlock that layer. Reveal the brush, select it, put it on white. And then say Edit, Define New Brush. Now the brush has been added. So when I go to Brush, I'll see it. And then I want to customize it with tip dynamics, size jitter, control based on